Before we jump into the action here, I want to do a quick topside demonstration of exactly the proper techniques required to catch a lobster. It really is not complicated. People make a bigger deal out of it than what it really is. It all comes down to executing simple techniques. First off, you have to keep in mind that the lobster, you are a threat to that lobster. You are a predator. You're a nurse shark or a turtle or something that eats that lobster. So you got to treat it very carefully. You basically don't want to offend him in any way. We're going to use this glove right here as our demonstration of lobster, and this is the hole that he's in. And typically he's in here with his antennas poking out, and he's just kind of monitoring the situation. What you're going to do as a diver is you're going to get breathed up, meaning slowing down your heart rate, getting comfortable so you know you can make a good quality dive and capture that lobster on the first dive. There's really no point in doing it again and again and again. It wastes so much energy. If you slow down and do it right the first time, it'll work out so much better for you. So the first thing is you got to get down to where the lobster are. Most people will kind of stop short of where they're going. Get your belly to the sand. You're going to dive all the way down and get your face right in this lobster's face. You're not going to want to get so close that you push them back into there, but you want to be close enough that your arm length has good working range on the lobster. If your arm is fully extended and you're floating away from your lobster, you really can't work your mission. So what you want to do is you want to get up nice and close. We have plenty of reach to get in there. That lobster should be treated like an egg. He's very delicate. You don't want to offend him and hit him and knock him backwards into that hole. He's only going to go backwards for the most part to save his own life. So what you're going to do is get behind him and gently persuade that lobster to get out of his hole. Once he comes out of his hole, he's going to be on high alert. He's going to be up on his legs. He's going to be ready to shoot backwards. He's going to be very vulnerable to any sort of predator such as you, so you don't want to invade his personal space. You don't want to hit him in the face because he's going to go backwards and you're never going to see him again. Once you do have that lobster out, you just want to very gently pull him away from the hole. You're not tapping him, you're not hitting him, you're just persuading him to move one way, which is away from the hole. Once you get him out, that's when the net comes in. Everyone always jumps on the net too soon. You're going to get that net around the lobster. Do not go over the top of the lobster. He senses that. He knows what's going on. He can feel the pressure wave. He can see the shadow. Do not put your net over the top of the lobster because, boom, backwards, gone, see ya. You get that net around the back side of that lobster, get it flat to the bottom, and clamshell him. The first thing that he's going to do when he feels that net on top of him is he's going to shoot to the back of the net. This is where you take your tickle stick. You're going to take your tickle stick, wipe it down to the net to where he's trapped in the pocket of the net right there, and that's where you pounce on him. That takes 20 seconds. You should be able to catch a lobster in 20 seconds every single time if you execute a very basic technique, and it's a repeatable pattern. Once you get the hang of it, you'll never miss another lobster. So we're going to go underwater now, and we're going to see how it's done underwater. Hopefully we can pull this off more than I can explain it. Don't happen to catch your lobster on your first breath, do exactly what Aaron did. Take your tickle stick, push off the bottom so you don't use your fins to kick up all the dust over the hole. If you dust your lobster hole, they all scattered, almost like the magician on the stage where he drops a smoke bomb and he disappears off the stage. Lobster do the same thing. So push off, don't disturb the bottom. As you can see, if you're gentle, you can manipulate that lobster. You can push him side to side. You can even almost have him like a parrot on a stick. You can a perch. You can lift him up. You can really move those lobsters around. But the key is, don't upset them. You've got to be very easy with them and don't actually knock on their little heads. They don't like that. Baby!
That's a big one. 2 fish.
Good job. Today I'm diving with Aaron Osters of Florida Keys Kiteboarding, also owner of Bandito Manufacturing, maker of Bandito spear guns and assorted marine products. We're looking at all the water spouts in the background. I got 3. There's 1, 2, 3 water spouts. Anyways, this is one of his inventions right here. I don't know if you noticed, there's a bag, a catch bag that he keeps on himself, similar to a fanny pack, but you can see it's exceptionally effective at storing the lobster on your person. That way you don't have to make a lot of wasted trips and wasted energy back and forth to the boat. You can see how nicely this keeps even very large lobster in there. Not even a dog can get them. Right, Bodie? Purposes, I have 2 different lobster here with me. I'm going to show you exactly how to measure them. Basically, this is what your measuring device looks like, and what you need to do on measuring the lobster, I'm going to use my head since I only have one free hand, is you're going to lay that front end of the measuring stick right between his eyes, not on the fleshy part, but on the shell. You're making a shell-to-shell measurement, the carapace, the head. It's all one body, it's unibody. So, this is the carapace. You can see where his shell meets his eyes, his actual soft part of the eyes. Let's see, how do I do this? So there's the soft part right there. You're measuring from the tip of that shell to this back piece right here where he divides. So here you see the gauge does not fit over the back part of the shell. That is a legal lobster. One important thing I want to stress about the legality of measuring your lobster is you cannot be safe enough. When we're diving, we use a variety of measuring devices. Some people bring their own, some I just keep on the boat. And you have to really make sure that you know the size of your measuring device. Go ahead and put it on a ruler or a tape measure. Make sure it's exactly 3 inches. I have measuring devices attached to everything on my boat. I have multiple measuring devices just so I get a second opinion. It's really not worth getting caught with a lobster that's razor paper thin short, because it has to count on the FWC guy's gauge, not your gauge. Your gauge doesn't matter. His gauge tells all. So make sure that your gauge and his gauge are reading the same. Again, so for measuring the lobster, it's very simple. We're going with that bony part right there. I use both gauges. I double check my lobster before he's in possession and before he goes in the ice. Not only do we measure him in the water, we always measure him twice on board before they go in the ice.